With profound humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 2 of 4.
Etc.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programas offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Нашите предавания предлагат много езици. Моля вижте suprememastertv.com/schedule.
When this child reaches the age of 70, he would cross the ocean, become a great exponent of religion, and open 108 temples. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, vegetarian, bringing Krishna consciousness to the Western world, Part 1 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan. Let's glorify love in action.
Wish your friends well with Aapka Din Acha Ho, that means have a nice day in Hindi. Enlightened viewers, I am Geeta. The faithful people of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands send you sincere greetings and pray that peace be with you. We are elated you're here with us for part 1 of the 2-part series entitled His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Vegetarian, bringing Krishna consciousness to the Western world. India, a nation rich in spiritual lineage, is where the Vedas, or books of knowledge, and numerous holy scriptures dating back from 1200 to 200 BC originated. Said to contain prayers, hymns, stories, and messages directly from the divine, these ancient texts have been compiled, taught, and passed on by spiritual practitioners through generations. Once only known within a corner of the world, to those understanding Sanskrit, it is thanks to devoted individuals such as His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada that these pockets of wisdom are accessible everywhere today. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada or Srila Prabhupada is considered a foremost Vedic translator and scholar of modern times. He was a Sri Guru of Gaudiya Vaishnavism and the founder Acharya of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness or ISKCON, also known as the Hare Krishna movement. His Divine Grace spread a message of spiritual living, love for God, and humble service to humankind. Within 12 years, he had circled the globe 14 times to preach the teachings of Lord Krishna, and together with his followers established 108 temples in major cities around the world, a vegetarian food relief program, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, and more. Srila Prabhupada was born on September 1st, 1896 in Kolkata, the capital of India's West Bengal state, into a Hindu practicing family. His father, Gaur Mohan Dey, a cloth merchant, and his mother Rajani named him Abhay Charan, meaning one who is fearless, having taken shelter at Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Shortly after his birth, as per Bengali tradition, his parents asked an astrologer to read his horoscope. The astrologer revealed this accurate prediction.
When this child reaches the age of 70, he will cross the ocean, become a great exponent of religion, and open 108 temples.
Long before realizing his destiny in his early childhood, Srila Prabhupada developed a love for Lord Krishna with the guidance of his devout father. He was often seen praying for long hours in the Sri Radha Govinda temple near his family home. At the age of 5, Srila Prabhupada organized Radha Yatra for his community, a religious festival celebrating deities of Hinduism. Displaying a pure-hearted enthusiasm, he engaged the local children and adults to join in, even organizing for some parents to come and help cook and distribute prasadam, pure vegetarian food first offered to the Lord for the festival. Srila Prabhupada received a European-led education at the Scottish Church College in Kolkata and majored in English, philosophy, and economics. His studies played an important role in his future endeavors. He was first observed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami in 1922, a renowned guru in the lineage of Gaudiya Vaishnavism at the time. Srila Prabhupada followed his friends who convinced him to visit the sadhu preaching in Kolkata. Upon first sight, as Srila Prabhupada and his friends were bowing in respect to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he said to them,
"You are educated young men. Why don't you preach Lord Chaitanya's message throughout the whole world?"
He was referring to the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in West Bengal, India in the late 15th century AD and was the founder of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Srila Prabhupada was surprised. The sadhu had immediately asked them to preach to the world and queried how it could be possible. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta answered that no obstacle could impair the deliverance of the Lord's message, and the truth is too important to wait for any worldly changes. Young Srila Prabhupada was impressed by the sadhu and from that night accepted in his heart Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami as his lifelong spiritual master.
No to vegan? Only people who are really educated choose it.
Gentle viewers, let's take a moment to appreciate all the past saints and sages who have given everything to elevate our world and bring peace to our hearts. We'll return after a moment. Welcome back to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, vegetarian, bringing Krishna consciousness to the Western world, Part 1 of 2.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
In the next 10 years following his meeting with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Prabhupada, upon his father's wish, married and had a son. His business was pharmaceuticals. Living as a householder, Srila Prabhupada continued developing a strong devotion to his spiritual master. In 1932, Srila Prabhupada received initiation in the Gaudiya Math in Allahabad, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami accepted him as his formal disciple. After a few encounters with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, it became clear to Srila Prabhupada how he could aid his master's vision for the progression of Krishna consciousness. Knowing of his talent for writing, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said directly to Srila Prabhupada,
"I have a desire to print some books. If you ever get money, print books."
In the months before Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami passed away in 1936, Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to inquire how he could better serve his master.
Is there any particular service I can do?
The reply he received from his master 2 weeks later would confirm his life's mission.
I am fully confident that you can explain in English our thoughts and arguments to the people who are not conversant with the languages Bengali and Hindi. This will do much good to yourself as well as your audience. I have every hope that you can turn yourself into a very good English preacher.
To fulfill his master's mission, Srila Prabhupada continued writing alongside his family duties. In 1944, he single-handedly began Back to Godhead Publications, an English fortnightly magazine. He did everything himself, from writing, design, editing, publishing, and distributing, to help offer spiritual guidance and Vedic wisdom to the Indian public. His devotion was recognized by members of the Gaudiya Math monastic order, and Srila Prabhupada was awarded the honorary title Bhaktivedanta, meaning one who has realized that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the end of all knowledge. Srila Prabhupada spent less and less time on his business and focused more on writing and preaching. His family was unable to understand his spiritual practice, and he retired from married life at 54. He then adopted the Vanaprastha, retired in order to devote more time to his divine purpose. Srila Prabhupada's life was not easy at this point. He spent years moving from place to place, continuing to distribute the Back to Godhead magazine until he was left with no more money. He lived very humbly wherever he was accepted and had little support from friends and family. Despite his difficulties, his faith in the Lord grew. Finally, Srila Prabhupada took shelter at Vrindavan's Vamsi Gopal temple, south of Delhi, a place where many of his predecessors stayed, located near the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. At the temple, he dedicated all his time to meditate, deeply study, and write, growing his commitment to bringing Krishna consciousness to the English-speaking world. A prominent reoccurring dream occurred to Srila Prabhupada in which his late master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, appeared and urged him to take the order of sannyasa, renunciation, repeatedly calling and motioning to the symbolic cloth. He took it as a sign that this would help him complete the mission from his master. In 1959, Srila Prabhupada received formal sannyasa initiation and was given the name A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, always preached that to attain Krishna consciousness or to act in complete harmony with God's will, one must wholeheartedly follow the instructions of a spiritual guide, a representative of the Lord.
The spiritual master and Krishna are two parallel lines. The train on two tracks moves forward. The spiritual master and Krishna are like these two tracks. They must be served simultaneously. Krishna helps one to find bona fide spiritual master, and bona fide spiritual master helps one to understand Krishna. If one does not get bona fide spiritual master, then how can he ever understand Krishna? You cannot serve Krishna without spiritual master, or serve just spiritual master without serving Krishna. They must be served simultaneously.
His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's life story, which demonstrates unwavering faith in such a master, continues in next week's episode.
I've had a plant-based diet for 3 years. I feel better than ever. I look and feel younger. David Hay, vegan.
Gracious viewers, it's been a pleasure to have your company today. Join us again on Sunday, March 27th for part 2 of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, vegetarian, bringing Krishna consciousness to the Western world. Coming up next is traditional Japanese street food, part 2 of 2. Vegan okonomiyaki, savory Japanese pancake with vegan bacon, here on Supreme Master Television. May we remember our divine nature within in every moment, bringing ever greater joy and blessings to our life.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/LS.